The James O'Keefe crowd is at it again. This time they're punking NPR. And, a couple of weeks ago, it wasn't the James O'Keefe crowd. It was the liberals. They punked Scott Walker, with the whole, hi, I'm David Koch. Oh, Mr. Koch. In this case, with NPR, one of the NPR guys, the executive Robert Schiller, said some things that you wouldn't want to be said, at least on Fox News, in public. And now they are. And so he's left his job. What a surprise. So there's a whole variety of issues here, from the nature of journalism to the nature of American democracy, or America, really, American culture, to the nature of journalism, that I wanted to have a conversation with Dan Gainor about. Dan is with the Business Media Institute, the vice president and T. Boone Pickens Free Market Fellow. Businessandmedia.org is the website. Of course, Business and Media is a division of Brent Bozell's media watchdog empire, I guess you could say. Dan, do you have a degree in journalism?
I don't have a degree, I just have more than 20 years experience in it.
Okay.
So it's basically the trade industry. So, pretty much a lot of people don't necessarily have degrees. Political science and history tend to be good degrees. Also have a publishing master's degree. So
okay. Yeah, I had it in my head that you did. I wasn't, that wasn't any kind of gotcha question.
Although we are in the era of gotcha, I didn't think that was one of them.
Yeah, thank you. I'm curious your thoughts on this.
I mean, that's what this all goes back to. This is not journalism. It wasn't journalism when the guy pretended to be one of the Kochs. It wasn't journalism when they did this. But it doesn't matter, and no one seems to care. It is the era of gotcha. I mean, look, O'Keefe, for all that the left hates him and journalists decry him, he helped take down Acorn, and now he really legitimately harmed NPR to the point where not just the guy he had on videotape, but the head of NPR was ousted today.
Yeah. On the other hand, O'Keefe was arrested for trying to bug Mary Lander's office. I mean, this is kind of a sketchy guy.
I'm not disputing that. If you're trying to bug a congressman's office, you should be arrested. I don't care whether you're left or right, but that's the problem. We've got to this point where the next generation, and this is going to sound one of those like geezer comments, where the next generation doesn't seem to care about any sort of the values of journalism. They just want to catch people in gotcha moments, and then they want to find some sort of website that will broadcast, and it was newsworthy. So of course that's why it got broadcast.
So, are you feeling that? I mean, being in the public eye, and you are too. I think I'm probably a little more than you are, but I don't know how much out there you are. In other media that I'm unaware of, but I know that. I mean, I can see. I'll get emails from people that are clearly bait. They're just waiting for me to answer so that they can post it on a message board. And I not only do I ignore them, but I put them on the blacklist so I never see anything from that person again. But it happens with surprising frequency and regularity. And Louise and I pretty much, we work 16-hour days, and we're not so social, so there aren't so many opportunities for somebody to sit down at a restaurant with us and punk us. But I got to tell you, I'm wary. Are you?
Oh, absolutely. I think anyone in the left and right, whether it's, I heard you mentioning, Think Progress, Lee Fong, whether it's him or someone in our organization or any member of Congress, anybody who works for them, anybody in a prominent business or a prominent union. And frankly, celebrities, we basically become the paparazzi as a society. Everybody has.
Yeah.
If you're in a restaurant and you see somebody famous and they're being rude to a waiter or waitress, the next thing you know, that video is on there. We've all seen meltdowns of different celebrities, or we saw, Britney Spears walking barefoot out of a gas station men's room. That's
right.
What all this is.
Yeah.
But it's still effective.
Yeah, it's the Charlie Sheen syndrome. Dan, in 1928, in the height of the Roaring '20s, a curmudgeon by the name of Oswald Spengler wrote a book called The Decline of the West, which I read about a decade ago. And I don't expect you to be familiar with. Most people have never heard of Spengler or read his writings, although he was fairly well known in the late '20s. But in his book, in the Decline of the West, Spengler was looking at the Roaring '20s And he said, this is a society about to collapse. My words, not his, but damn close. He said, when society becomes a caricature of itself, then you know that collapse is coming. When it becomes, when the institutions of society become caricatures of themselves, when they become cartoon characters rather than the real thing, when the average person can't distinguish between the cartoon character and the real thing, then you know that that's a society in collapse. And sure enough, that society of 1928 did collapse, and arguably is resurrecting now in the roaring whatever it is. I realized economic times are bad, but it seems to me that these are symptoms of some sort of social disease. Are we a couple of curmudgeons here sitting around commiserating, or are you going to argue with me on this?
Some of it's true. I mean, some of what you're saying, I think you and I can agree on. We all spent literally decades worried about Big Brother, and I think both left and right are still arguably worried about things like TSA and examples of Big Brother. But it's Little Brother that's the problem. Little Brother that can, quite literally, where every movement you make, I mean, people who use Foursquare are beyond me, because I don't want the whole world to know every second where I'm going to be somewhere. Yeah. You're not safe in a restaurant. You're not safe just for people to get.
Well, here's the flip side of that, though, Dan. And pardon my interrupting you, but we only have a minute left. The flip side of that is, if a citizen journalist, in quotes, catches somebody legitimately doing something wrong, catches some congressman taking a bribe on the side or something, don't you want that on YouTube?
Right. But see, then where do you draw the line? And I think that's where we found, like we saw with Christine O'Donnell, the guy who said he slept with Christine O'Donnell but actually hadn't had sex with her, and still that ended up on, national news. We see
somehow I missed that.
Embarrassing photos of people. Okay, somebody sees a person leaving their house to get their morning paper in our bathrobe.
Right.
I mean, we lost the sense of privacy. And I mean, I think the technology and what people are doing with it can be wonderful. As we're seeing it in the Mideast, how wonderful it is.
Yeah.
But the genie's out of the bottle, and we really don't know where all this ends.
Yeah, this really is a new world of journalism. I find it fascinating.
And simultaneously, yeah.
Pardon? Yeah, and I think that there's some real positive upsides to it and some real scary downsides to it. And I haven't sorted it out in my head yet, Dan, and I suspect you're going through the same thing.
I think everybody's dealing with the same problem.
There you go.
Now.
Dan Gainor, businessandmedia.org is the website. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.